Hello and welcome again, my wonderful viewers. If you are new to the channel, a special thank you for joining us. Please make yourself at home and I implore you to look around. I'm sure you'll find plenty of positive content to immerse yourselves in. Now, in our previous video, we looked at the role of the Jamaican father in modern society. So if you haven't watched that one, I suggest you do so later. Today we are looking at the church in Jamaica. So we'll delve into the profound impact of Christianity through different eras on the island's history and people, including the values and morals of the wider society. But before we get into the video, I must share this info with you. This content was not done in collaboration with or for any religious group, church or otherwise. This channel does not engage in profanity, lewdness or negativity. So feel free to enjoy the videos with your partners, children, relatives and friends. Jamaica is a land of vibrant culture and stunning landscapes. It has a rich and diverse tapestry of faith, and significantly, as it pertains to this video, the island boasts the most churches per square mile on the planet. This is quite a feat when we consider that Christianity was already a large and growing religion by the time it arrived upon Jamaica's doorsteps. In 1494, or as historians call it, the 15th century, the arrival of Christopher Columbus brought not only the first European footsteps upon Jamaica's pristine coastline, it heralded the introduction of Catholicism to the Caribbean paradise. Now at that time, the inhabitants of the island were the Taínos. These were simple folks dwelling in small villages who enjoyed a peaceful and tranquil lifestyle, which includes fishing the bountiful seas and streams and small crop farming along the fertile riverbanks. Now you can imagine the shock and awe on their faces when what they most likely assumed were massive canoes with gigantic strips of fabric flapping in the billowing tropical breeze appeared on the horizon. Thus, the early introduction of Catholicism by Europeans whose color and language were considered deity-like to the unknowing islanders was both a cultural and spiritual shock of immense proportions. After the arrival of Columbus, Spanish missionaries who later arrived in what they called the New World were pivotal in the spreading of the faith amongst the indigenous people and the ever-increasing population of African slaves. By the time of the British conquest in 1655, the Spaniards had largely decimated many of the early inhabitants. Now, among the early British arrivals were also missionaries. Unlike their Catholic and Spanish counterparts, these were instrumental in the introduction of Anglicanism. Now let us look at the early years of the church within Jamaica. Slavery was and still is a barbaric treatment of people. So in order to keep the slaves peaceful and accepting of their situation, the colonizer saw it a necessary tool to introduce their colonial religion. Firstly, by introducing Christianity to the slaves, it gnawed away at their ancestral beliefs. This eroded the fabric of an important element to their courage and inner strength to resist their plight. Next, the religion required learning European languages. This disrupted the slaves' native tongue, which the colonizers could not understand. Furthermore, the teachings of the faith created and reinforced the view that masters were superior and to be obeyed. Thus, the early introduction of Christianity wasn't solely based upon the basis of changing lives or saving souls as we know it today. It was more a means to control and tamper the spirits of the oppressed. Nevertheless, as we often say in Jamaica, every day a devil help thief, one day God a go help the watchman, which is a source of comfort to oppressed people. For my non-Jamaican and international viewers, this means do not despair when cruel and unscrupulous people continue to survive and take advantage. For God is aware of everything, and He will reward the faithful and just one day. In this same way, the same Christianity that was used as a tool to continue the colonizers' wicked ways would eventually become an unbearable thorn in their shoe. Or as another popular Jamaican saying goes, it became the straw that broke the camel's back. For within the faith were the teachings of love, compassion, and the equality of all humans before the Creator. This was evident in early slave uprisings when revolts led by George William Gordon, Samuel Sharp, and Paul Bogle brought much needed fight and condemnation to the horrific acts of slavery. For these actions, the trio would later be awarded National Heroes of Jamaica. But although these uprisings were primarily and hugely significant to the 1834 emancipation of slaves, they consequently led to the tremendous growth of Baptist and Methodist churches, especially amongst the freed Africans. Now, before we go into the next phase, if you are watching this video and you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, let me take the time out to say thank you for joining us, and here's an opportunity to do so now. Your support is greatly appreciated, and it does help make the channel grow and the positive movement have a wider reach and a better impact on society. Now let us look at the growing role in the church in the Jamaican society. As we have already seen, the church, and by extension Christianity, was deeply embedded in the happenings in the Jamaican space. Being closely tied to colonial powers, it was used to serve the slave master's interests and reinforce social hierarchies. Thus, the teachings of the church were instrumental in shaping the society that would emerge in the 19th and 20th centuries. Nevertheless, what had been the fate of the colonials pre-emancipation quickly spread like wildfire amongst the freed people. And despite the early misuse, Christianity was seen as a pillar of stability and moral authority amongst the people. This as there were people from within the church who had been advocates for social justice and played a role in the fight against slavery and inequality. In the years before Jamaica gained independence from Britain in 1962, the church wielded significant influence on the island society. Some of these include education. The creation of missionary schools played a vital role in Jamaica's early education system. Today, many of the nation's schools are still linked to their church founders from the distant past. Social services. Churches established numerous community outreach programs. These include food banks, healthcare clinics, and shelters, which help to address the growing needs of the marginalized people. Let us not forget the cultural influence. Music is intricately linked to the Jamaican experience, and the church played a crucial role in the early musical landscape. Today, many of Jamaica's renowned artists once honed their musical talents on choirs or at events in churches across the island. And of course, there is spiritual guidance. For many of the oppressed and marginalized, the church provided a space where they could congregate and seek divine intervention. Here they could find solace from their troubles, and it also provided comfort during times of grief, when loved ones had passed away. Hence, the church's continued role in funeral service today. In the eras post-independence of the 60s, 70s, 80s and 90s, the church was perhaps the most dominant force within communities everywhere. On every Sunday, villages and towns echoed with the singing of hymns, instruments, cymbals and tambourines, as locals bedecked in their finest garments came out in droves to what was a must-attend event, especially for children. During the weekdays, as many Jamaicans can attest, if you were ill Monday to Friday, you might escape going to school. But come the weekend, attending church was mandatory. It was also the day when you get to wear your best attire. You had the best meals, and it was often when visitors or relatives would attend your home. In this regard, the church molded the minds of several generations with the morals and values that held families and communities together back then. And although most Jamaicans went to church on Sundays, there was a growing percentage who were Seventh-day Adventists. They went to church on Saturdays and held to the teachings of the Old Testament. This includes, just like it is said in the scriptures, God commanded that the seventh day be observed as the Sabbath and the day of rest. Therefore, during the decade immediately following independence, Jamaica was largely a Christian-led society. Most families were openly of the faith, and schools, radio and television were by and large closely aligned with the values and morals of the church. For many Jamaicans today, this was the golden period when there was peacefulness, decency, upstanding morals and harmony everywhere. Of course, this was also an era rife with hardships, but neighborly unity was in abundance. And yes, it was a time when poverty was widespread, but good manners, attitudes and values such as sharing and aiding others existed everywhere. As we continue, we now look at the church in contemporary Jamaica, or modern times. Modern Jamaica is a diverse array of Christian denominations, as well as other faiths, which reflects positively a growing and more pluralistic society. Nevertheless, Christianity remains a pervasive force. New churches are still being created, and some established ones have grown exponentially. But the attitudes of many towards the church have evolved. Where entire communities were once steadfast in upholding the values set by the church, today this is often seen only in small pockets of the populace. And in a modern world where the internet and specifically the smartphone has brought information to the fingertips of many, this glut of knowledge from distant places has also brought customs and values that are not aligned with those of the past Christian-led Jamaican society. Which is why today we see such a vast difference in the behavioral patterns around the island. Today, many correctly point fingers at leaders within the church for its loosening grip on the Jamaican populace. This is true, as past, emerging and continued atrocities committed by those of the cloth in esteemed positions are constantly being brought to light. And I say thankfully this is happening. Pastors, evangelical leaders and even family members within the church have at times kept the secret of the wrongs dealt upon the young and unsuspecting. Once again, we are definitely happy that in recent times, many of those are being exposed for their devious crimes. However, in many cases, the damage is often irreparable. A growing number of churches today no longer contain large congregations that once adorned their halls. Baptism were once a frequent occurrence in many village streams and beaches. Today, a large percentage of Jamaican youngsters are more likely to be influenced by dancehall artists, social media influencers, and fast and flashy lifestyle celebrities than the teachings of a sermon. This is because they are not as compelled by parents and guardians into attending church as children once were in bygone decades, which has led to a seismic shift in the behavioral patterns that we now see across the island. In addition, current changes have led to the merging of some denominations. This transformation has happened in order to entice a populace with a different mindset from their ancestors. All this means the church is now facing stiff competition from a myriad of distractions, negative internal occurrences, and seemingly more appealing options in modern society. Nevertheless, the role of the church is still vital in Jamaica today. And there are still many, especially of the older generations, who regularly attend services on Saturdays and Sundays. We still have crusades, not to be confused with the so-called holy wars in ancient times, but church services which are often held under massive tents that are still widely supported. Rallies and concerts or other services held within the church that encourages attendance and participation. These and other events usually showcase visiting choirs from other churches. Here you'll find prominent gospel singers gracing the stage with emerging acts that are widely embraced by the congregation. And of course, although many Jamaicans today are not a part of the church, christening is still a hugely popular thing amongst Jamaican families. It is still considered a blessing and a vital part of the early years of an infant's life. Lastly, there's the funerals. Now we all know the act of burial is an important part of every society. And in Jamaica, this can be seen as an ever-evolving world to itself. Yet the fundamental principles and the role of the church in the administering of service to the departed are still critical, a legal requirement, and as vibrant as ever today. Now as we conclude today, here are the opinions of the narrator. Christianity has left an indelible mark on Jamaica's society, history, and values. It has not only provided many Jamaicans a source of spiritual solace, but it has been a catalyst of social change and a beacon of hope to the oppressed and marginalized. Nevertheless, the church is also facing many challenges. These include rogue leaders, declining attendance rates, criticism and opposition to its stance on certain social issues, and competition from other secular influences. However, the role of the church in Jamaica is towards a testament to the enduring concept of human belief in a greater power. And despite the many setbacks, including negatives endured during its long association with colonial slave masters, when at a time it was largely a beneficiary, where wielding its considerable influence to enrich distant European empires, We believe its impact has been and continues to be of greater benefit to the island than not. So we say, long may it continue to benefit and shape Jamaican lives in profound ways. Thanks for watching my video. May you and your families be blessed with positive energy. May you all have endless opportunities and memorable moments together. Do remember to like and share the video. And please, leave your thoughts on the topic in the comment section below. And as always, the message to you all is love. And this is regardless of your color, race, class, religion, or creed. Until the next one, catch you next time.